Are you a prepper or homesteader looking to connect with like-minded people in your area? Looking to start your own preparedness group? Already have a group? Well, look no further than PrepperNet. PrepperNet is dedicated to personal responsibility, individual freedoms, and being self-reliant. PrepperNet has monthly meetings in over 100 cities where you can meet and learn with like-minded people in your area. PrepperNet, where preppers unite. Find us online at preppernet.com.
Bonefish Grill is now open in the Concord Mills Mall at entrance number 2. Indulge this holiday season at our new location and celebrate with dishes like new lobster, crab, and artichoke dip, delectable fresh Oscar mahi-mahi, and miso-yaki Chilean sea bass. Pair these with the handcrafted guest favorite cocktail, the Winter White Cosmo, and delicious chocolate creme brulee for dessert. If you're looking for holiday gifts in addition to a great meal, receive a $10 bonus card for every $50 you purchase in gift cards at the Concord Mills Mall Bonefish Grill, now through December 31st.
We have exciting news. You can now afford to have your own freeze dryer. That's right, for the first time ever, it's possible to have a freeze dryer in your home. It was invented right here in America by Harvest Right. With this new appliance, you can freeze dry your own food and it will last 25 years. Imagine freeze drying fruit, vegetables, meat, and your own homemade meals. It's as easy to use as a microwave. Learn more about this amazing home freeze dryer at harvestright.com. Again, that's harvestright.com.
You've just joined the Prepper Broadcasting Network, where we promote self-reliance and independence. The views and opinions expressed are strictly those of the host or their guests. Visit us in the interactive chat room at prepperbroadcasting.com.
Awesome. Love that music.
I have good taste.
You're going to come up with a new theme, I thought you so.
I sent you some music.
I know you did. Hey, guys, welcome to the Prepping Academy. I'm Forrest. We have Kyle sitting across the table from me. It's Friday night, and we are live, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and we bring you the best radio broadcast network in the world.
I mean, I would definitely say we're like over coast to coast. Like we have surpassed George Norrie.
Rush Limbaugh listens to us and gets ideas. Wouldn't you think? I mean, he has to.
That's where he gets his conspiracy theories, is me.
Absolutely. Hey, we are live every Friday night on prepperbroadcasting.com. If you're over on Blog Talk Radio listening to us right now, go over to prepperbroadcasting.com. We have a chat room. You can interact. You can ask some questions to our special guest tonight. That's it. I mean, did you have a good week?
Yeah, I had a pretty decent week. I mean, you know, I worked a little bit.
Oh, gosh, you got a job. Kyle has a job.
Yeah, it's you know.
It's temporary.
It's fun.
It's fun.
That's all.
I got a real job, though.
Yeah, rub that in.
Yeah, I mean, I got a real job that actually pays cash.
You got no, it's not cash. You got your new phone. You got your new, Windows 10 laptop.
I did complain a little bit about that on Facebook, that I am not a Windows person. And I knew when I hit the corporate world, I was going to get a Windows.
You think we get Apple to sponsor us? We should get Apple to
sponsor us. I know, no kidding.
Yeah.
But, every product I have, I've got every Apple product made just about. So I go in and I get a dang Android phone. So now I got to carry two phones around. I did go out and I picked my own laptop, but it was Windows based.
Yeah, I can't use the new Windows
And stuff. Next week I got a car being delivered. So sweet.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's
a good job right there.
That is.
Yeah.
I need more of them.
Oh, and a credit card was ordered for me. He told me that this afternoon as I was leaving.
Oh, that's rub it all in. Rub it all in. No, good. We'll make sure we have business lunches. You can pay for that.
Okay. Well, so I had a good week. You're working. It's Christmas time. And last week's podcast, we did 20 items that I did 10, you did 10 that we thought would be great prepper gifts.
Yeah, and Amazon has yet to send us that check for.
We should do the referral link. You just make so little on that. But that podcast has been, it's been going through the roof. People have been listening to it because we have good ideas.
Yeah, we do. We have excellent ideas.
And gosh darn it, people like us.
You know why we have good ideas? Because we've made all the mistakes buying stuff over the years. Everything, something comes out new all the time, and you buy all the little trinkets, and then you realize, I don't need this.
Oh, when I first became a prepper, the first thing I bought was the Catadine water filter.
Yep.
Is that $279 or $3?
Something like that.
It was like $300 I paid for that sucker.
And didn't you just try and sell it on eBay?
I sold it on eBay. Yeah. I did. It's like, okay, that's overkill.
Yeah. A
Sawyer water filter, $20 is so much better than that thing.
Yeah. Whereas guys who go out and get the really big Berkeys and stuff like that.
Well, Berkeys are good for home if you use them.
They're good. But I don't plan on being at home.
No. And we make our own. We make our own anyway.
Yeah, precisely.
Well, again, welcome. We're kind of glad to be on. I kind of miss the week. We had a good Christmas party, our prepper group here in town. We had a gift exchange.
That was pretty cool.
I got 9mm ammo, which is awesome.
Yep. That does work.
And that was good. Anytime you get ammo, that's a win. Yep. Ammo and silver. Don't forget, you're listening to the Prepping Academy. You can go to preppingacademy.com. We're having a giveaway. And I think next week, we're going to have Rick Alston from the Secret Gardener.
Yes.
Secret Gardener.
Yeah.
Is that the name of his book?
I think it is.
I think it is. And also, he does Prepper Camp, one of the largest, best prepping camps in the United States. Him and his wife, Jane Alston, which is called Survivor Jane.
Yeah.
They were both on Doomsday Preppers and got the second highest score. The only person that beat them was the guy that spent like $7 million.
Yeah, if I spent $7 million, I better get
the
highest score. Yeah.
You win. That's like buying a win.
Yeah.
So you win. But we're actually having a giveaway. Go over to preppingacademy.com. Sign up to be on our mailing list, which you get at least one email a month because I'm not very good about getting
it's not spam.
It's not spam. But we're giving away a SunJack solar panel, charging system. We're giving away tack bar, ready-to-eat food ration survival kit, and giving away a mini Sawyer water filter. So go over to preppingacademy.com. There's also links there to listen to our archive shows as well. So anyway, that brings us up to. Who used to do that? Is that Rush Limbaugh that always did the paper? Walter Cronkite? Maybe so.
Cronkite.
That brings us up to the most weighted moment of the week.
Yes, the best part. It's the best. This is why everyone listens. That's why they stop listening after I know.
It is time for Kyle's conspiracy. We need major music and theme for this. Kyle's conspiracy theory of the week.
That's the deepest I've ever heard your voice.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh man.
So what's your conspiracy theory this week? Are grass blades listening to us?
No, not today. It's too cold out. The microphone stopped working at below 40 degrees. No. You know what? I told you I'm really tempted to talk about Pizzagate again. Everything going on with that. But have you noticed lately? There's a lot of people talking about false news, fake news.
False news. This is all fake. If you listen to any of the media, it's false, right?
Yeah. Well, I know. I'm positive I've seen CNN fake stuff and MSNBC fake stuff.
Okay.
And wasn't there a time that Hillary said she was being shot at by a sniper somewhere? And she lied about it. And then I know Brian Williams.
Oh, Brian. Oh, he got... Yes.
Yeah. But yet now they're saying that guys like Drudge and Zero Hedge and SHTF Plan, and there's like a list of 200 media outlets. And now all of a sudden, apparently, if you listen to those, you're a victim of Russian propaganda. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and come out. I have not told you this before.
I'm not a commie. Don't be saying
I have not told you this before. Well, technically, they're not communists.
Okay.
But
Okay, go ahead.
I have to come out of the closet here.
Okay. Ooh.
I'm actually a Russian agent.
Oh. Because
Yes.
you listen to you read the Drudge Report.
Yes, comrade.
Yeah.
Many years I've been waiting to come out of the closet on this one. I listen to Drudge Report.
So-
I contribute to prepping campaigns. I try to convert you Americans. No. That's a great accent, though.
So
isn't it?
very good. So you're coming out of the the secrets you have. I mean, like, you know that I have a gun.
Yeah.
I mean, that helps Russia.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. See, we're subversively getting into the American population so that whenever we decide to take over, we're just already all here.
Yes.
You know, I just get sick of it. It's the same sort of play that you've seen out of the CIA handbook whenever Crimea swung back over to Russia, which, you know, people need to realize when Crimea went back with Russia, it was a vote.
Right.
They didn't just say, "Oh, hands up, we surrender." They asked for Russia's assistance.
Right. And it was no scare tactic. I mean, they did it on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ukraine, what happened weeks prior, they knew there were CIA agents in there, and they get into the mainstream population. They use media, they use government, everything they can to divide the people. And what they start doing is the people that they want to overcome, they'll start calling you a traditionalist. Then they'll start saying that you're a insurgent, then a terrorist, et cetera, et cetera. It just kind of reminds me of that sort of propaganda that we're now seeing within our own media.
Right. Well, you know, this fake news, how do we determine what is fake and what is not fake?
You have to test everything, and at least to the best of your ability, and do your own research. It's really tough. I mean, although whenever you see Anderson Cooper's face get cut off, you know, by a green screen, then you know that he's not really in, you know, Iraq during an invasion. That's a little more obvious. But I mean, it brings up things with false flag terror attacks, you know, lying journalists, lying politicians trying to promote things. I mean, do you know how many times Osama bin Laden was reported killed since the Bush administration?
No.
7 times.
7 times.
7 times. And you know when it was always announced? That he was killed, captured, right around elections. I mean, tell me that's not planned.
That's BS. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's absolutely BS.
Well,
so that's kind of my...
See, what gets me, I mean, you can't accuse Matt Drudge as fake news. He just links to other news sites, which could be fake. But this, and we talked about the WikiLeaks last week and the Pizzagate. And you're still on that, aren't you? You still...
Well, I mean, this week we've seen where there was a guy who went in there with a gun. And there was conflicting reports. There's some people that are saying it's false flag terror and that he was just doing this to throw, you know, a bad light on theorists, we'll say.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of people are really concerned whenever you start talking about things of that nature.
That guy was near our hometown, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's right over... I mean...
Not too far, a few hours.
I thought he's from, like, Monroe or Indian Trail.
No, Durham.
Durham, okay. Okay. Well, tonight we're supposed to have Chris Weatherman on. Will you plug us in over there? Let's make sure. Again, hey, we're preppingacademy.com, and we are live every Friday night. Just to remind you guys, because a lot of you guys listen to it on the podcast, which we appreciate that. But we are live, and if you listen to us live, you can jump in the chat room and tell us how great we're not doing.
Yeah, if you want to applaud my Russian accent or send donations, you know, please let me know. Provide that. You know, I'm available for children's birthday parties also.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
So tonight we have Chris Weatherman. He is a star. I mean, he was. And he was on TV show Alone.
Yep.
He's written a series that has never ended. I think he changed the name of the series, but we're going to have him on. And Chris, are you there with us?
I am. What's happening, fellas?
How you doing?
I'm just fine. Finally
Great.
cooled off a little bit down here in this godforsaken swamp, so it's actually comfortable for a change.
What area of the United States do you live in?
I live in Florida.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know why,
Yeah,
but every
Chris,
time I leave it, I come back. So.
Chris, that's horrible. I mean, if something happens...
Yeah, that's a bad place to be.
Not a good place to be.
We can go to the swamps. No one's going to go into the swamps.
Yeah, a lot of these idiots down here think they're going to run to the woods and live, and they'll get over that illusion real quick.
Oh yeah.
I know what it's like for real. So.
I know. Well, let me tell you, I was at prepper camp, and I was looking forward to meeting you.
Hey, let's take a quick break.
Are you a prepper or homesteader looking to connect with like-minded people in your area? Looking to start your own preparedness group? Already have a group? Well, look no further than PrepperNet. PrepperNet is dedicated to personal responsibility, individual freedoms, and being self-reliant. PrepperNet has monthly meetings in over 100 cities where you can meet and learn with like-minded people in your area. PrepperNet, where preppers unite. Find us online at preppernet.com.
I was looking forward to being there, but unfortunately, things happen. I'm going to be there next year for sure. So.
Yep, and you had a tent, and we met Frank Horton, which was there with you.
Yeah.
And then we met this young kid, man, that is just absolutely, I don't know. He kind of gets on everyone's nerves. He's in our chat room. His name's Chin. Everyone seems to write about this guy. I guess he just irritates people. Chin, I'm just kidding, man. But so you were on Alone, and you were a writer.
Yep.
And I've read your Alone series, and I was meaning to reread them because I mean, some of these you were an author writing these books years ago. And
yeah, it started like almost 7 years ago now, I guess.
Yeah, and so tell us about your books. I know The Going Home. Does it? If I know I think I read 6, and I think you have another one out now.
Yeah, there's a 7th in the series now called Avenging Home.
So what got you writing, and what started you writing, and then just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, there's a guy in the chat room here, Highlander. He was there back in the very beginning of all this when it all first started. I wrote Going Home on a forum on SB, Survivalist Boards. And it was just for fun. I was sitting around one night reading stories. There's a lot of really good guys and gals that write stuff on that forum. There's a lot of really good fiction there. And I was just reading them one night, and I was like, these are all cool, but they're kind of missing something for me. And I went, what the hell, I'm going to write one. I gave it about 10 minutes of thought, came up with a concept, and banged out like 5,000 words the first night. Posted on SB and went to bed, didn't think nothing of it.
Okay.
And got up the next day, and, man, there were comments there. I mean, before it was done, it had over 2 million views on that website. It was the most viewed thing on the entire forum.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That is cool. And so, I mean, when you started out, because you started out with an alias.
Yeah, well, Angery American was my username on SB.
Okay.
And so guys like Highlander and all these other dudes that were very persistent and pestering me to publish it, and I kept saying no in the beginning, but they were relentless, and I can't thank them enough now. God bless them for pushing me the way they did. When I finally caved in and did push it, I was like, if I put my name on this, no one's going to know who it is. So I just went ahead and put it under Angery American,
Right.
So everybody would know which book it was. And that just kind of stuck.
So were you going to keep that until the Alone show? Because that's about when your name came out, or did you come out before that?
Well, I was never really hiding.
Some
people knew my name. Alone, they had my real name, but they never referenced my pen name. They wouldn't get near that because they're not about to help me out. They're not going to publicize it for me. Even though I publicize for them and I promote the snot out of them, they wouldn't do it for me. But that's fine. It's just the nature of the business. So, but yeah, I was never hiding. When I went with Penguin, them being a fine liberal New York publishing house, they couldn't stomach the Angery American thing, and we made it A American to meet their sensibilities somewhat.
Okay.
So it's either Angery American, A American, Chris, whatever everyone wants to call me. I'm easy. I don't care.
Right. And so I know your first book, you got this main character. It's like, a lot of people I think have copied kind of your scenario where the husband goes away on a business trip and the crap hits the fan, because there's been several books written after your original book.
Well, there's a lot of guys worried about that.
Yeah, true. That is a legitimate.
A lot of hardworking Americans who travel, 4 or 5 days out of the week.
When I did that, like I said, I wanted to write a story, but it was a thought experiment for me too, because the route that Morgan was on, the actual very trip he was on, was when I had got home from that day. I'd been in Thomasville, Georgia, and it was a route I used to drive all the time. I mean, all the time. And so I was kind of wargaming a what if. What would I do if that happened to me? And I just kind of played it out. I don't really consider myself Morgan Carter by no stretch of the imagination, really. There's some elements of me in there, but, he is fictional. And that's what I was doing, just a thought exercise. And that's how I got started,
And since then you've written 7 books in the series?
Yeah, 7 books in the series, and then I've got a couple co-authored books. I just released another one called Cry Havoc, which is totally outside of the series, something entirely different. I've got a little novella floating around out there, too. I think I have 13 total now. 12 or 13, I don't remember how many.
And, I was looking forward to meeting you, and I ran across to this guy named Chin, and he's like, I know him, and I'm actually in his book, and I'm like, are you? And then Frank Horton, which I know is a friend of yours, he's in Frank's book, and I'm like, what the heck? So why did you write Chin in there? And we're on a campaign to get Chin killed in all these books, by the way. I'm not sure if I should have told you that before the show, but we're on.
Yeah, he got in my book. And I told him to be careful what he wished for. His character so far has been fairly nondescript and sneaking around, but you don't want to get on the bad side of the guys in my books. They're very creative with what they do. So the biggest problem I have when I'm writing a book, what used to be my biggest problem, and the thing that I hated more than anything, was coming up with a character's name.
Oh, yeah.
And I found the greatest solution to that. I use my fans' names.
Oh, okay.
I'll say, hey, who wants your name in the book? Throw it out there, and they'll throw their names out there, and it gets them jazzed up. So I use a lot of my fans, the guys and gals that love the story, like Fred. That's a real person, based on a real fan. So many people want their names in the books, and I use them.
Right.
One of the National Guard guys is based on a real dude. I like to use real names when I can, because
that's free advertising,
they get a kick out of it. See their name in the book,
Yeah. Yep. And so how many books do you see in the series before you close it down? I know there was a series I read called 299 Days, and it was a 10-book series. I thought it was I loved it. But how many more you got in your mind there?
Well, my standard reply to that is I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. I don't know. When I start writing a book, I don't know how that book's going to end. So I can't tell you how the series is going to end. The series is totally character-driven. I recently put a little thought into it because I was up in North Carolina at the last Self-Reliance Skills with Carolina Readiness.
Oh, yes.
And a good buddy of mine up there gave me an idea of something that would play this out for a very long time, generational. But, we'll have to see. And I tell everybody, I'm going to keep doing these as long as the characters can drive the story is good, and people want to read it. If it ever gets to the point where I sit down and look at the page and go, oh, hell, what would I do now?
Right.
Then it's time for me to start slowing down. But when I sit down and work on these stories, especially the Going Home series, I can't type it fast enough. The characters, they really do drive the story. And I have major plot points in mind, but how they get to it and what happens in between, I couldn't even begin to tell you. I don't outline a book. I don't do anything like that. I let the characters do what they do, and they do it well in most cases.
That's awesome. I think Kyle, he's my co-host here, I think he would be a good writer, but, because you're a good writer, but you've never written a book or anything, but, it seems to me that prepper books, this genre right now is just, a lot of people are reading. The prepper community, I think, has doubled every year for the last few years. I don't know if
Well, I mean, now we probably won't because we're winning so much.
We're winning.
Well, there was a lot of people talked about the sigh of relief after Trump won, and a lot of people backed off of things. I know several people that have slowed down what they were doing. I'm not one of those guys.
Right.
We still have a long way to go till January.
Yeah, we did a kind of an exercise in our last group meeting here in Charlotte, and we went through all the different scenarios and, did Trump actually move the needle to safer? And out of the 10 scenarios we went through, there was only two that he moved the needle just a little bit. Trump can't stop a solar flare.
No.
He can't. Well, his hair might be able to
shield it
a little bit. He can't stop, an economic collapse. I mean, there's just things that he can't do.
Of course, I just realized he probably actually increased global warming because all the hairspray.
Oh,
all the CFA.
Oh, yeah, they don't.
Well,
like
he definitely increased it for a little while because all the CO2 being expelled by the liberals who are still wailing in the streets.
That's the truth.
It's like cow farts, Now we talk about liberal cries. We talk about their tears, but just the additional air that they're exhaling, all that additional CO2, they're warming the planet.
Yes, that is true, and they hate, EP. What's the guy? Everyone he's doing is like anti-global warming that he's putting in the position, so they're hating it. I hope he gets to serve, but people are saying he might not get to serve. So then you write this show. Now, do you think the books helped you get to the Alone show?
Oh, absolutely, because they came to me. I didn't cast for that show.
Okay.
I was in Dallas speaking, signing books and speaking at a big prepper expo, and they showed up there and asked me if I'd do it. And at first I told them no, and then we talked for actually weeks back and forth. And once I really understood what they were trying to do and believed them, because at first I didn't believe them, but once I really understood what they were doing, I was all in because no one had ever done anything like that before. And it was legit. There was no BS behind the scenes stuff like a lot of people try to claim there was. And once I realized it was legit, I went to Alan. He's a good friend of mine, and asked him if he wanted to do it. And he said, yeah, and I got him into the mix, too. So it was a great show, It was a great show.
I'm a survival instructor, and when I read that and what, I'm like, I want to do that. I want to do that.
Yeah.
Then I saw the first year, and I'm like, there's no way in heck I ever want to do that.
Well, it's like I tell folks, there's romance and there's reality, and reality never lives up to the romance. Never.
Yeah, that just looked miserable. Oh.
It wasn't a lot of fun, It wasn't a lot of fun, and like when I wasn't there long. Obviously, everybody knows I didn't make it long. Me and dogs just don't click. At SHOT Show last year, I got bit by a canine. So it doesn't matter where I am or what's happening. If a dog takes a not to liking me, it's not going to be long before he's going to be on me, and that happens quite often, believe it or not.
Huh.
So much so that even Alan knows about it, and he laughs his ass. He was at the range, just doubled over hee-hawing when that dog bit me. He thought it was a fun. And, Marcus Luttrell, guys like that were there. Marcus didn't see the dog bite me, but a bunch of other Rangers and SEALs did, and they were all just cracking up. They thought it was the funniest thing they'd ever seen. Because we told him that the dog would bite me. I told the guy, keep it away from me, and it wasn't 15 minutes later, it got too close to me. And they laughed because they thought it was hilarious. So.
Yeah, that actually is pretty priceless. See, dogs love me.
Yeah, my dog. I have a devil dog, and my dog likes Kyle. We don't know why. He bites everyone, but not Kyle.
Yeah.
So I've got 3 dogs, and I'm not outwardly afraid of every dog I look at. That's not it. I can look at a dog and tell quick if I'm gonna have issues with it, and I just make a mental note and know to avoid it. But when 3 wolves showed up, that was check please. I was done. All right then. Because they came in the middle of the night. I couldn't see them. Vancouver at night is so dark that, it's like being underground. It's that dark. It's hard to describe unless you've actually experienced it. I would lay in my shelter at night, with my hand in front of my face, trying to see how close it would get before I would see it, and I would always touch my face, and I'd never see my hand at all. So when those 3 wolves showed up in the middle of the night, and they didn't wander in and sniff around. No, they came crashing down the ridge behind my shelter into my camp, and I don't know if they were fighting or fornicating or killing something or what they were up to, but it was god-awful sounding. So
probably fornicating.
I called, I finally managed to get a signal on the phone. They were still in my camp. I called for the extraction, and it took them 9 hours to get to me. So.
Oh, my word.
No,
yeah, so I'm glad the wolves either A, weren't interested in me, or B, didn't know I was there, which I find it hard to believe they wouldn't know I was there. They were 30 feet from me. They were right in front of my shelter.
They would have definitely smelled you. You know, speaking of the show, we were looking over before we got on the air here, and we were going over the items. And there was 2 items specifically. One, I have to ask if you ever used it. You had, what was it, a bow and arrow? Yeah, you had a bow and arrows.
I had a recurve, takedown recurve, yeah.
Did you ever get to use that? I don't recall seeing that on the show.
Nope, never did use it. Didn't even put the damn thing together. Never even assembled it. I took 2 fishing arrows. I was the only guy to bring fishing arrows. I did have 2 broadhead arrows with me, but I took the fishing arrows as my primary idea for the bow, was to be able to reach out and not only for fish, but I was hoping for ducks and things like that. On the water, to be able to hit them, drag them back to me, that kind of thing. But I never got to assemble it, and a couple other people brought bows. They showed Sam hunting with his one time. He never bagged anything that I was aware of. And I love Sam. That kid's great. But no, never got to assemble it. I'm curious to see the guys in Patagonia that took some bows. Now, down there, I would have took a bow to Patagonia with those hogs. I would have definitely took a bow. Some kind of a weapon,
Right.
to be able to hunt the hog, because, we hunt hogs here in Florida, so I don't have a problem getting in a tree and waiting on one.
And then the other item that you brought along, we were kind of questioning, was you brought along the sharpening stone.
Well, it wasn't just a sharpening stone. It was a sharpener, but it was a multi-sharpener. It was the Work Sharp little pocket sharpener, which does several things.
Okay.
For sharpening. And the reason I brought that is you guys have to remember where I'm from. I'm from Florida. That's where 99% of my outdoor experience is based. We don't have rocks in Florida. You can't pick up a rock here and sharpen your tools with it in Florida. That doesn't happen. So part of my standard basic don't leave without it kit is some way to sharpen a blade. Even my pocket kits have the diamond cards in them because I know I'm going to need to maintain a blade should I have to use this stuff, and I have to carry that. It didn't even occur to me that this is Vancouver, it's Canada, the Rocky Mountains, there's rocks on the ground. Never really even thought that direction because it's so far outside of my realm of experience. That's why I took it.
Gotcha. And one question I had, a lot of these just didn't. Are these your own personal items you took?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You had to supply your own kit. Yeah.
Okay. Everything, it was yours when you walked out there, and they. I remember your reaction when they left. The plane left. You could see the helicopter above your head, and you're like, "Oh crap, this is real."
Yeah. Yeah, it was the first season too, and you got to think about that. This was the first season. We were the first ones. Not knocking anybody that's done it since. Believe me, I got nothing but respect for everybody who's gone out there. But we were the first ones, and they had their plans, but they were untested plans.
Okay.
Like I said, when I called on the sat phone and told them to come get me, it took them 9 hours.
Dang, I would have been ticked. I'd have called Amazon and ordered something.
Yeah, right, and got it quicker. Drone would have probably dropped it off.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but we pretty much knew going in that if we got hurt bad, they'd be there in time to recover the body. We all pretty much understood that. Once we got an idea where we were going, they showed us their equipment. They would send us a message on the yellow brick. It would take 8 hours for that message, 6 hours for that message to come through.
Dang.
And then you would have to reply, and who knows how long that took to go back.
Gotcha.
They did that on the first day, like once or twice. Just, hey, is everybody okay? Everybody, it was new, so they were just checking in.
Oh yeah. Did they had heart monitors on you or no?
Mm-mm.
No, they didn't.
No,
okay.
The yellow brick just was a GPS device that they could pull up a map and see where everybody was, and if you were stationary for too long, it could alert them.
Okay.
And they may send you a message on your brick saying, "Hey, man, are you okay? What are you doing?" Or if you didn't reply to a check-in, then they may come looking for you.
Gotcha.
But you got to think of the hours in between these things. Even at that, it would be hell and gone forever before anybody would come looking for you. So, I mean, it was legit. You were on your own when they left. I mean, you were on your own. It was real. Oh, yeah. No doubt about it.
Hey, Chris, we're going to take a quick break. We're with Chris Weatherman. He is the star from the history show Alone and also the author of the Going Home series. And we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Hey, Joe Alton, MD of store.doomandbloom.net here.
And I'm nurse practitioner Amy Alton. And we're here to get you medically prepared.
A lot can happen in the uncertain future, natural disasters, epidemics, terror events, but we're here with medical kits and supplies that will help make you a medical asset in times of trouble.
From first aid kits for the trail to complete family medical survival kits, we've got an entire line to help you deal with injuries and illnesses in any scenario. Compare our kits to others and you'll agree that only our kits are assembled to work best when help is not on the way.
So get a quality kit from a doctor and nurse practitioner and not some mass-produced knockoff. Often imitated, never equaled.
That's store.doomandbloom.net, store.doomandbloom.net.
And hey, get the essential guide for when medical help is not on the way, the Survival Medicine Handbook, 3rd edition. Find it and the all-you-need-to-know Zika Virus Handbook on Amazon.com.
Prepper's Asylum is the premier preparedness outfitter. They carry in stock and ship direct the products you're looking for. MREs, freeze-dried food, Kelly kettles, water filtrates, first aid and trauma kits, stoves, personal protection, self-defense supplies, and more. Prepper's Asylum are people just like you and I. Find what you're looking for and use promo code PBN at checkout to receive 10% off. That's promo code PBN for 10% off at preppersasylum.com.
TheWonderMill.com, the best grain mills on the market, with the ability to mill several items that many grain mills will not. There are 2 grain mills to choose from. The Wonder Mill Electric. It's fast and gives you a vast variety of items it can grind. The Wonder Junior Hand Grain Mill can grind a wide variety of things that even some of the most expensive hand grain mills cannot, including oily grains, nuts, and seeds. Learn more about the most resourceful tool that you may ever own. See all the exciting things that Wonder Mill can do for you and what you eat at thewondermill.com.
Hey, great. We're back at preppingacademy.com. Forrest Kyle sitting across the table, bringing you a live broadcast Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have Chris Weatherman with us. Chris, am I calling that right when I say the Going Home series? That's just the way I know it. Okay.
Penguin calls it the Survivalist series, but everybody calls it the Going Home series. I mean, that's where it started, so.
Because I said that, and I was looking on all your books on Amazon, which everyone can go and purchase them, of course. But and they call it kind of the Survivalist series kind of thing. So.
Yeah, Penguin did that to it, and I argued with him because there's other series out there called that, and they wouldn't bend. And when you're dealing with a publisher and that kind of a relationship, there's certain things you just don't have control over. So.
All right. Gotcha. So, Chris, we were talking whenever we had Alan on, and one of the questions we came up with was, if they did an all-star show, would you go back on there? I'm going to pose the same thing to you. If they called you up tomorrow and said, hey, we're going to do this all again, and, we're not going to send you back there, but we're going to send you somewhere like Patagonia or Sahara Desert or something like that, would you be down for it again?
Yeah, I'd go in a blink of an eye. I was just talking to Alan right before I called you guys, and we were talking about that very thing. Yeah, I'd go in a heartbeat.
All right. Can you bring me? I need a vacation.
Vacation. What me and Alan want would be for them to do a team episode and let me and him team up. You guys would have some television entertainment that would be priceless.
Oh.
He and I are very good friends, and when we get together, it is interesting to say the very least. So.
They were going to do that show called Dual Survival, which was 2 people. And I actually submitted... dual survival. Yeah, they should let me and Alan do dual survival. That would be that'd be pretty good. Yeah, I submitted an application with that with a friend of mine.
We should pitch that. If they get on there, we should see if just throw our names out there.
I don't want to go against Chris and Alan.
No, that would be so much fun. Come on.
We'd raid your camp and take all your stuff. I'm just telling you.
Even we would lose. I don't care. I met Alan. Just looking at Alan, I'm intimidated. I mean, he's like 6'5". I mean, he's a big guy.
Yeah, he looks intimidating, but what a lot of people don't know about him, everybody thinks of him as a survivalist dude. What's the word I want to use here? He is very skilled in the arts of violence.
Oh, great! That helps.
No, I'm serious. I'm not joking around.
No.
That guy is very dangerous. He and I were sparring in a hotel room in New York one time with tomahawks with sheaths on them, and we were knocking over furniture, and I was bleeding when we were done. You know, I mean, he is extremely talented in hand-to-hand weapons, edge weapons, shovels, you name it. He can turn anything into a weapon, and he's extremely good at what he does.
Yes. Okay. I want to be on their team. Team Alan Chris.
Yeah.
Alan Chris.
Yeah. I wouldn't be going against him. That's for sure.
Now, on the show, were there once you were there? Did you think through the items? Would you take different items if you were going back?
If I was going back to Vancouver, I would certainly have taken a gill net.
Oh yeah. Yep.
You know, because that paid off for those guys. The problem is everybody takes the same one, and it's usually the one from BCB, and it's a very weak gill net. It's made from mono, and it's not even heavy mono. You know, you saw Alan grab a crab and just rip it out of the net, tearing a huge hole in it.
Right.
I have one old-school survival gill net from the military that I would probably take that's a lot better constructed. I would probably have taken that gill net with me.
You had 300 yards of fishing line. You could have made one.
Takes a lot. You'd be surprised how much line you're going to eat up when you go to making nets.
I know.
It would take a whole lot. But yeah, I was planning on fishing and the bow. I was really planning on using that bow for fish, you know, and hoping to get some of the seabirds, seagulls, ducks, whatever I could have got close enough to stick a fishing arrow into them and drag it back to the shore. That was my plan.
Now, you could have trained the wolves.
You could have trained the wolf to hunt for me,
you could have trained
through the forest.
Yes.
One under each foot, you know.
That would have been some epic television right there.
Yeah,
that would be good.
Yes. Great mental image for listeners.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
So, Chris, let me ask you, in today's world, not being on a show, writing your books, what's your number one concern for what you see going on in the country, economically, socially, politically? What's your biggest thing that you're preparing for?
That's tough. I spend a lot of time watching the news, and I don't mean our local news. I scour the internet for news sources from obscure places. To get things that we're not told here, and to get the truth about what we're told here.
Well, wait. When we talk about the truth, you know, you can be honest with me. I came out earlier. I don't know if you heard, but I'm also a Russian agent, so I do put out a lot of fake news. So are you admitting you're also Russian?
Oh yeah. I do have a soft spot for the Russians. I'm not a Russophile, but I've got a soft spot for them. They're hardy people. I got a lot of respect for them.
Definitely.
You know, but it's obviously our economy right now would probably just barely bump out anything else at the moment to me. I'm very concerned with civil unrest come springtime. You know, I think we're being primed for an American spring. You know, we've had the Middle Eastern springs and all the Arab springs and everything else, and when Clinton rolled out in purple at her concession speech,
precisely,
that was a very telling thing to me. Color is always used when one of these revolutions is started for some reason or another. It becomes the banner, the standard that the followers will bear. And come springtime, I'm going to be curious to see what happens. You know, she even then made reference, I think, to the Purple Revolution about changing the country again. And once it warms up in some of the northern cities and colder places where there's densely populated Democratic majorities, we could start seeing a little bit of violence. You know, there's there's some of these fools on the left that are out calling for revolution, that we need to do this and they need to do that, you know. And I just pity these folks because they don't understand what it is exactly that they're asking for. And if they get it, it will be very unpleasant for everybody involved, but more so for them, you know.
Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with it, and a lot of people I talk to, because obviously, you know, I kind of delve in the world with conspiracy theories, and I try to look at alternative media and test things. But for years, I had one mentor whenever I was younger who was an FBI agent in charge of immigration, and he and I had numerous conversations because that was kind of the career path back then that I wanted to take. And I remember him telling me once that in '89, when the Soviet Union fell, the Communist Party of America split because there was two consensus that either they were going to take over this country subversively by getting themselves incorporated in politics and a grassroots level, and they were going to do it over a period of time, or they were going to do it through violent revolution. And right now, with Trump's election, the Communist Party of America never disappeared. And whenever we talk about what's going on in the media today, progressivism, liberalism, socialism, communism, and nationalism are key terms that we're seeing more and more. Is very reminiscent of what happened in Germany after the Weimar Republic and with Hitler's takeover. And, you know, seeing these key phrases thrown out, it's, you know, we were talking a little bit ago, it's kind of reminiscent of what you see happen in other nations, anywhere from Egypt to Ukraine, where I hate to say CIA, Western forces go in there and they play off the nationalists as traditionalists, and then they change traditionalists into radicals, to insurgents, to, you know, downright domestic terrorists. And it really feels like now with what's coming out on Hillary Clinton, George Soros, their affiliation with the Purple Revolution, it really does make it seem as though the Communist Party of America has finally said, okay, well, the time for doing things subversively is over. We need radical action. And guys like Bill Ayers are unfortunately probably going to be instrumental in helping them do these things. And we already see Soros funding, you know, movements like Black Lives Matters.
Oh yeah, they're. But see, the problem is for these folks that in all these other countries where that model has worked so well, there's one fundamental difference between them and us.
Guns.
The right in this country is armed to the damn teeth.
Right. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And they haven't come across that yet. In Ukraine, for example, when the far right pushed the Russian-speaking East to the brink, they had to raid armories and things like that, and then before Russia would started supplying them. So there wasn't violent resistance to their initial actions. You know, like with the fire in Mariupol, you know, where they burned 40-odd people to death in the state building right there, because those people couldn't resist. They didn't have the ability to resist. We have the ability to resist, and we're the ones that are maintaining that ability, honing that ability, and doing everything that we will need to do to function in that regard should it happen. Now, I don't want it to happen. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. This goes back to romance versus reality. I have no romance about civil war. You know, I'm not looking forward to it. I don't want it to happen because we won't be the winners. You know, it'll be years down the road. You know, before somebody comes out on top, and it won't be pleasant for anyone involved.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you know, people have been afraid of gun control in America. That's never been one of my top concerns.
No,
there are probably more guns hidden in America from our government than most countries have.
It would be a logistical nightmare. I mean, if we ever seen gun control roll out, you can guarantee it's not about gun control.
Right.
It's about something entirely different, and it's being used to, you know, light the powder.
Well, if they attempt an Australian or British gun control style thing here, that's not going to play well. That's going to be blood in the streets. You know, that will lead immediately to kinetic action. The meat's going to meet the metal, and we'll sort it out on the other side. But right now, we're not going to talk about gun control.
Right.
You know? And they know that. They know that. So they've got to be careful how they play that card because they know what will happen the day they try to say it. It's things will go kinetic immediately. There's people waiting for the government to say that, and some of those guys. We have loose screws on the right, just like the majority of the left. We have people that'll do dumb things, and they're just waiting for an excuse to do the dumb things. We need to wait until the time is right, till there is no other option but to do that, because then we'll be just in doing it. We don't need to instigate it. We don't need to perpetuate the rhetoric that'll start it. We just need to wait, which is what we've always done. The right, we don't take to the streets and riot and loot and steal other people's property because something didn't go our way. We don't burn things down, turn over police cars, and kill officers. We don't do all that. We just keep getting pushed a little bit each time. They just keep pushing us just a little bit each time, and we keep taking a step back. Well, eventually our back will hit the wall. And I think that they will be stunned at the response that they'll get when we hit the wall.
We actually had someone last night who was talking to me about this in our prepper meetup group. Chris, does it ever amaze you that we haven't hit the wall? Because I kind of feel like I kind of feel like there's so much going on, and even what we see coming out of the alternative media, and Pizzagate, whatever it may be, that's something that really perturbs me. But there's other things that are going on, like with Planned Parenthood. That tore my heart out last year whenever I seen a lot of that information come out of there. But as a country, I think that we all have to pull together and say, like, there's a point where you just have to say enough is enough. And I cannot believe over the past 50 years to see how far the nation's slidden, that we're not at that point by now where we're just saying, you know what, politicians, you're all fired. We're going back. We're changing the rule books. We don't have to do anything violently, but just enough is enough.
Well, with Trump's election, that was a little statement in that way,
Yeah.
Of course, they say Hillary won the popular vote, but I have no doubt that there was a lot of shenanigans involved in that.
Oh, I'm sure.
We all know that. Of course, the left says that's not the way it is, but when you look at the counts, they were fairly close to evenly split for the people that did vote. The 2/3 that voted.
Right.
And that's kind of a dangerous mix that we're that divided at the moment, almost 50-50. That's a real problem because that's when things can get violent. Obviously, if one side or the other had a major majority over the other, then that would be even worse. But to be so closely split, it's still dangerous. And like I said, I just fear that these fools that want to talk so much garbage about us, they use the worst language they can find and call us every bad name they can think of, whereas we don't generally do that. When they finally get what they're asking for, they'll rue the day.
Right.
They truly will.
Yeah, I think it's kind of ironic that we're sitting at this point now where now we've got a president that we elected, democratically, and for all the times that we sat there over the past 8 years, be like, man, I just wish I could quit paying my taxes, don't want my money going to this or that, and now Time Magazine is telling Democrats, hey, don't pay your taxes.
Right.
And if we said that, we're suddenly racist, and every name in the book they say that. Yeah, they say that, and they're just revolutionaries. They're they're amazing.
Yeah.
Well, dissent is the highest form of patriotism. You got to remember that. You got to remember, guys, where we're at in this country today. And as far as paying taxes, you wouldn't believe the payment I just made to the IRS. So I'm damn sure paying my fair share.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about something a little bit more serious. This Chin fella, he needs to be. We're on a campaign to get him out of the books.
Well, Chris, do you watch Walking Dead?
I watched the first season of Walking Dead, and I know a lot of Walking Dead fans are going to hate me when I say this, but when the girl showed up with the katana and the two zombies on chains, I was like, I'm done
that
there.
Was it. Yeah.
I want reality in my zombies, goddammit. Excuse me, sorry. I want reality in my zombies, not whatever. But no, I really, when I saw that, it ended for me. I thought it was really good up to that point, but as soon as that happened, and I know that's following from the book, that's the way it was, but I never watched another episode after that.
No, I was going to suggest something for Chin, but, not straight out of the show, but I mean,
Oh, well, hey, you can suggest it. I'm fairly creative, though. I mean, I haven't drawn and quartered anybody in the book yet. So.
Oh, okay. No, Chin's a great guy. He's awesome. We really like him. He was on our show actually the weekend after Prepper Camp. I had him on, kind of give us his take on Prepper Camp. So
yeah, no, we talk quite often, and I'm hoping one of these days to get up there and hang out with him.
Yeah, you need to come to North Carolina. One person in the chat room said, "Why would you ever live in Florida after you lived in, spent so much time in North Carolina?"
Man, I had the best place in North Carolina. I had 142 acres on the side of Wilson Creek.
Oh, gosh.
Right where it came out of the gorge, right where it left the park. I had that part of the river, about a half-mile frontage on it, and it was awesome. I loved it. But I couldn't convince the guy to sell it to me. Initially, when I settled on it, we were working out a deal where he was going to sell it to me, but then his daughters talked about selling it. And after living there, I couldn't find anything that remotely interested me. Because that was
just
the most
went to
beautiful
Florida.
Well, the reason we came back to Florida, the real reason, is when that place didn't work out, my wife found a house in South Carolina that she really wanted. So we did the same thing. We went down there. Which was a cool house. It was built in the 1800s by a relative of Edgar Allan Poe, so it was a really cool house to write in, actually.
Sweet.
But when I was going to go on a loan, we started talking, and I decided it would be better, because we didn't know how long that was going to take. And I moved the family back here so that they wouldn't be alone. So they wouldn't be alone. They'd have some kind of a support network, because we didn't have any friends or anything in South Carolina at the time.
Right. Well, goodness.
And now I'm just stuck here again. I don't know. The company I was working for previously, like when I started writing originally, they just called me up and offered me a position. They wanted me to come back to work for them and move to Denver and open up operations out west. And I considered it, but we take care of my wife's dad now, and he can't really make that kind of a trip at the moment. But I would love to live someplace that actually has seasons. Cold weather. I'd like the colder the better.
Well, it's cold here.
Amen to that. Hey, it's not
Our
that
news
cold.
is just railing about how cold it is in Florida right now. I'm looking at the thermometer on my desk. It's 48 degrees outside. I'm outside by the fire pit in shorts. It's not cold to me.
Well, I hope to meet you this spring up at the what is it called, Heritage Life Skills?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll probably come up. I'm gonna do some trips this year too. I'm scheduled now for SHOT Show, but we're getting ready to probably replace our house here, and so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do SHOT or not. But I'm gonna do a trip up through at least probably West Virginia in the springtime.
Okay.
So all the way up, Georgia, North and South Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, and stop and see some folks. I'll drive by Franklin's house and throw rocks at it. Go by Steve Bird's place, and let his cows loose, something like that.
Oh yeah,
and,
that's
just go visit some folks, Stop and do some meet and greets, those kind of things. I always enjoy doing that.
Well, if you're ever in Charlotte, let us know, and I can get a big group together. We'd love to listen to you in person. And
and that's the kind of thing I'm doing. When I schedule this, I'll do it via Facebook. I'll tell everybody where I'm going to be.
Okay.
And I love to meet up, wherever too. Prepper shops, gun stores, a bookstore if it has to be that way. But I don't really like doing bookstores. Ask me about ham radio. CQ.
Hey, well, Chris, we've got to go. G-Man is telling us we got 2 minutes left, and this show goes so fast, especially when we have like a ton of questions for you. We'll have to have you on sometime next year again.
Anytime. You guys hit me up whenever you want me on. I can be on anytime. I'm pretty easy.
We appreciate you coming on.
Oh, yes, definitely. Thanks.
I had a good time, guys. I appreciate the conversation. And you guys in the chat, thanks for everybody coming to the show, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone can find you where on the Internet?
Facebook is the primary portal I use. I also have a website, AngeryAmerican.net or .com. Both of them take you to it. I've got another website that I need to get back up and running as well, so I'm not going to list it because I haven't done anything with it in a while.
Gotcha.
But Twitter also, the Angry American, I'm on there. But Facebook, hit me up at Angry American. I post a lot of stuff there. That's where I interact with everybody. If you send me a message, I will reply to it. I read everything that gets posted on the page. So look me up there. You can find all the books on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. The first two are actually in Walmart now. Going Home and Surviving Home are both in Walmart.
Okay.
So, and you can get all of them on Amazon.
Okay, great. We appreciate it. Hey, guys, go out and buy his books. Check them out on Facebook. And he's also on the History Channel. Watch the Alone series. Every prepper needs to be watching that anyway. Hey, we've got less than like 30 seconds, so we're gonna sign off. Again, thanks for joining us on the Prepping Academy. Kyle and Forrest here, and join us every Friday night live, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go to preppingacademy.com. You can see listen to all our archive podcast shows. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you guys next week.
Absolutely. You guys have a good weekend.
Hey, it's a good show, Kyle. Good job, man. See you guys.
Today's broadcast has come to you through the courtesy of the Prepper Broadcasting Network. See our hosts, show schedules, archive programs, and more at prepperbroadcasting.com. Thanks for listening.
Take your prepping plans and survival skills to the next level. Go to survivalsullivan.com to find a treasure of no-fluff prepping information on wilderness and urban survival, stockpiling, and much more. Everything you need to protect yourself and your loved ones. Go to survivalsullivan.com now.
Bonefish Grill is now open in the Concord Mills Mall at entrance number 2. Indulge this holiday season at our new location and celebrate with dishes like new lobster, crab, and artichoke dip, delectable fresh Oscar mahi-mahi, and miso-yaki Chilean sea bass. Pair these with the handcrafted guest favorite cocktail, the Winter White Cosmo, and delicious chocolate creme brulee for dessert. If you're looking for holiday gifts in addition to a great meal, receive a $10 bonus card for every $50 you purchase in gift cards at the Concord Mills Mall Bonefish Grill, now through December 31st. Bonefish Grill is now open in the Concord Mills Mall at entrance number 2. Indulge this holiday season at our new location and celebrate with dishes like new lobster, crab, and artichoke dip, delectable fresh Oscar mahi-mahi, and miso-yaki Chilean sea bass. Pair these with the handcrafted guest favorite cocktail, the Winter White Cosmo, and delicious chocolate creme brulee for dessert. If you're looking for holiday gifts in addition to a great meal, receive a $10 bonus card for every $50 you purchase in gift cards at the Concord Mills Mall Bonefish Grill, now through December 31st.
Has your data been hacked? Do you feel uneasy about the vulnerability of your personal information online? Were you involved in the Target, LinkedIn, or Microsoft data leaks? Don't know? If not, then pay attention. Join Forrest Garvin from PrepperNet for a free webinar on privacy and security. Gain insights into safe internet browsing, VPNs, crafting online aliases, secure emails, detecting if your data has been hacked, and managing passwords. Secure your spot today for this webinar on privacy and security. It's free. This webinar delves into comprehensive strategies for bolstering your online privacy. We've got you covered, from fortifying your passwords to shielding your financial information and mastering state-of-the-art encryption techniques. We're offering 2 convenient dates to suit your schedule. Reserve your spot now at preppernet.com/privacy. Don't let cyber threats erode your peace of mind any longer. Take the first step toward a safer, more secure online experience by joining us for our free webinar. Remember, knowledge is power when it comes to safeguarding your privacy. Sign up now at preppernet.com/privacy. We'll see you there.